Welcome to the June edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll visit a martial arts academy that is giving kids with special needs a chance to succeed. We'll play at the Maplewood Library, and we'll find out how an area mother is using cakes to honor her daughter's memory. All that and more is straight ahead on Northeast Journal. Hello everyone and welcome to the June edition of Northeast Journal. I'm your host, Joe Cullen. Every month on Northeast Journal, we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the northeast section of the Twin Cities. The end of spring brings lots of parties and graduations. This means an increased chance in students making bad decisions like drinking and driving. The White Bear Lake Police Department recently gave students a close look at those dangers. Producer Mary Klein has the story.
Yeah, whatever, that sounds good. Definitely want that though.
Guys, you guys all gotta go. Sorry, my parents are coming home early.
I can drive, you guys. I'm starting to sober up. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'll go with you then, right? Yeah, I'll go with you.
I want next chance. Yeah.
Haley, stay sexy.
I will.
Hey, do we know them?
Just go step over there. How about... Were you driving this vehicle? Okay.
I knew this.
I know those ambulances. Have you been drinking tonight? You have been drinking tonight. How much have you had?
I thought I was sobered up by now.
Okay, and how did you get in the accident today? Do you know what happened?
I don't know, just swerved and hit them.
This is going to be a series of 9 heel-to-toe steps. It's called the preliminary breath test. Let me blow on that. Okay, it says you're over the legal limit today. Turn around for me. You're arrested for drinking and driving.
No.
Do you understand?
No, I want to go home.
Can I help you?
Hi, are you the Natterstedts?
Yes, we are.
I'm sorry to inform you there's been a car accident today. Your daughter, Tess, I'm sorry, sir, she was killed in the crash.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry.
I can't believe that.
A drunk driver T-boned the car that she was in with her friends.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Is it okay if I come in?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to walk right over the green door over there. I have probable cause to believe that you are in physical control of the motor vehicle in violation of Minnesota State Statute 169A.20. I place you under arrest for DWI. There's people involved in the motor vehicle accident or collision resulting in property damage, personal injury, or death.
It can be difficult for kids with autism or other special needs to participate in sports. One local martial arts academy is doing what they can, though, to make sure these kids succeed. Let's take a look. Participating in sports can be a challenge for kids with special needs, but a Woodbury karate school is giving those kids a chance to kick their way to the top. JK Martial Arts specializes in teaching kids with autism and ADD.
Many times there's tightness in their muscles, so it increases their flexibility. Many times there's a balance issue, so it helps them with their balance. Many times they're not real strong, and so it helps them with their strength. And actually in their mind-body connection, understanding where their body is in space, it's really helpful for that also.
Catherine Engstrom is the sensei, or head instructor at JK Martial Arts. She owns a school with her mom, Joyce Brecky, and loves teaching kids of all abilities.
I get a reward every single day coming into class and seeing the students that have challenges with their bodies, and even seeing them do jumping jacks for the kids that that motor planning is really hard, and having the parents come up to me and say, I never thought my kid could do X, Y, and Z, and they're doing X, Y, and Z. And that is something that you can't put a price tag on.
Joshua, a student at JK Martial Arts for over a year, tells us his favorite part of studying karate.
I guess it's pretty fun to learn the new moves, especially when you master them.
JK Martial Arts tailors their teaching to each student's individual needs.
To experience success is absolutely so important in life. If we experience success, then we can build on that and become better at everything. So when the kids come, it's absolutely crucial that Sensei and I give them compliments and assure that they succeed in every class. So every time they come to class, they succeed. And to see their face light up because they're successful is absolutely amazing.
JK Martial Arts holds classes in both Woodbury and St. Louis Park. For more information, visit their website at jk-martial-arts.com. A Lake Elmo couple is using the experience of losing an infant with a congenital heart defect to help other families in similar situations. Let's meet Cakes from Grace.
My daughter was born with a congenital heart defect in 2012, and through her, I really got to reach out to a lot of families in the hospital. We were in the hospital for about 3 months. And then she passed away. And after that, I was kind of just thinking of different ways I could honor her and share her story. And then I had this vision in my head, just kind of woke up one morning like, I should start a nonprofit. And I have done cake decorating and baking as a hobby for the past 7-8 years. And I just decided, I'm gonna make cakes and I'm gonna donate them to kids with congenital heart defects. It could be for a birthday, it could be for a celebration, like coming home from the hospital after a few months, or I've even brought cakes into the hospital when they have surgeries, or a big milestone, or an anniversary of a heart surgery or something. It is a therapy for me. It's very calming for me to just be in my kitchen and just baking and decorating, and because I love it. It's my passion. But when I started doing these cakes for these kids, I started feeling my daughter's her presence, and the little touches I put in some cakes. I feel like Gracie put those ideas in my head. When I found out that we were pregnant with her, I was a basket case of emotions, and it was a really tough 9 months. Just not knowing, is she going to be healthy? Is she going to have a whole heart? And so it was hard. And then when she was here, it was like all that went away. I felt like Gracie was with me through her, you know, I still see her in Amelia, and you really treasure special moments with them after you lose a child. A lot of people wonder why a cake? You know, why are cakes so special? Something as simple as a cake can mean the world to a kid, especially after they've been in the hospital off and on throughout their whole life. You know, something like a cake isn't real expensive, but it's still an expense, you know, and a lot of families, oh, we can't do a cake this year, or we can't do a cake for this, you know, because it's something small, but it's also something big to them.
2 police departments in our viewing area, Maplewood and North St. Paul, lost officers in the line of duty over the last few years. Every spring, area law enforcement agencies get together to honor their fallen brothers. Producer Mary Klein has these moments from this year's Ramsey County Law Enforcement Memorial held at North Haven Church in North St. Paul.
Mike Duzon said, who was a nephew of Joe's and also a police officer, said, "My Uncle Joe's death doesn't make him a hero, his life makes him a hero." Today we gather to honor Sergeant Bergeron and his ultimate sacrifice.
Every time I come to this memorial, I have to chuckle a little bit because it shows Joe with his tie properly affixed to his collar, and I don't know if I've ever seen him with his top button buttoned and the tie where it's supposed to be.
Maplewood Police Department. Joseph Bergeron, end of watch, May 1, 2010.
Everyone loved Joe. Joe was the kind of person that everyone wanted to sit next to. He wasn't a class person. He didn't care how rich or how poor. He was just that kind of person that liked to help people.
We're here supporting the family and remembering Joe, what he stood for and what kind of a guy he was.
Slid on some very slippery road and hit a big boulder when he went off the road, and the steering wheel crushed his chest. That's how he ended his watch.
It was tough growing up without a dad because, you know, other kids that we played with and whatnot all, you know, went to school with and buddies in school time, yeah, they had their parents and they were hunting or fishing or going to a cabin or whatever, you know. Well, we didn't have that.
We're not all cut out to be law enforcement, but those that are special.
We have a lot of policemen in our family, and maybe in a selfish way, I don't want anyone to be forgotten. And it's important to pray for those policemen who are out there every day putting their life on the line. And so when tragedy happens, you just don't want people to forget any of them.
It's time for a short break. We'll be right back with more of Northeast Journal in just a minute.
Did you know more teens are killed in drunk driving crashes between prom and high school graduation parties than any other time? I'm Lon Bakey.
And I'm Carrie Crotty. This month on Your Police Report, we'll show you how a drunk driving scene at an area high school impacted hundreds of students.
We'll also hear from survivors who lost loved ones in the line of duty and show you how local officers are being remembered.
Join us for these stories and more on air and online.
Welcome back to Northeast Journal. What does it take to be an Iron Man? And I'm not talking about the movie. Let's find out from photojournalist Jeffrey Wilson.
As bikers gather on a rainy April morning, ride organizer John Ridge doesn't stay in one place for long.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Good to have you on the ride.
The Gateway Loop is a really fun loop.
All right. Fantastic.
And he works his butt off for both rides.
He is giving advice.
There's some road construction on Manning that made it impossible for us to go that way. And then you just work your way back to the fairgrounds.
Fixing problems.
Right now, it'll be on its way in about 30 seconds, no problem. Is your square hooked up? Yeah, that's what I was just trying to do. You guys are set out there. That'll be good.
And generally being a good host.
We've got coffee and food in the volunteer room in the corner of that building. If you want anything, help yourselves. If you guys want coffee or food or anything to eat, go in that building.
Weather during the annual kickoff of the Minnesota bike season can be unpredictable.
Our little tagline has always been, well, that's why we call it the Ironman, with the expectation that weather's going to be a challenge.
Because it's not an Ironman if the weather doesn't suck.
But that doesn't stop thousands of riders from attending the Minnesota Ironman.
On a blistery, cold, windy, rainy day, to have 1,500 people on their bikes, wanting to bike anywhere from 30 to 100 miles is pretty amazing. This is the 48th year for the Ironman.
With months of planning.
We really start about 6 months in advance of the ride, getting started for it.
And lots of hard work.
We have to deal with corporate sponsorships and work with lots of businesses that want to get involved with us. We try to get all of our website up and running, our registration going. We have to know all the routes and all the logistics in place. The ride needs about 200 volunteers for us to produce it.
The riders are on the road, rain or shine.
You may remember that our entire show last month was about libraries. While doing research for that show, we discovered a unique play area at the Maplewood Library. Let's check it out. A little bit of the Minnesota Children's Museum can be found in Maplewood. About a year ago, the Ramsey County Library branch in Maplewood acquired a smart play spot from the museum.
The smart play spots were designed to take the Children's Museum out into the community to places where the community members weren't able to, either for economic or transportation issues, get down to the museum. So it was just putting a little bit of the museum out into the communities where it was needed. So we thought this was a perfect space for it. They did have dimension sizes and ours fit perfectly.
The Minnesota Children's Museum opened up applications for the smart play spots. Winning libraries get half of the project paid for through legacy funds and are then responsible for the other half. Maplewood Children's Librarian Monica Stratton tells us the benefits of having a smart play spot in her library.
We want to promote certain things to help develop children's reading skills from birth all the way up to age 6 or 7. To read together, to play together, to develop imagination and a sense of what's possible in the world, to sing together. So there's songs, actually the words of songs are on some of these things, which helps break language down so that kids can understand that words are made up of different sounds. To write together, and we have a post office right here, and that sort of encourages the idea that you can write, and to talk together.
Stratton says she's heard nothing but positive comments about the smart play spot from kids and parents, although she does often hear the same question from other curious onlookers.
Why do you have toys in the library? Isn't it for sitting down and reading a book and being quiet? Well, libraries are kind of changing, and they're especially with like pre-K and younger. It's a place where kids can really start working on those early learning skills, and we know how to do that, and we can provide the tools that kids need to do those 5 things that I talked about earlier.
For hours and other information, visit the library's website at rclreads.org. Imagine being able to hear clearly after a lifetime of living in near deafness. That's what a White Bear Township company is providing for patients all across the country. Here's more about Esteem Implants. A child laughing, a telephone call, a song on the radio. These are some of the things Amy Padula was missing out on throughout her life. Padula, a Matamidi resident, had struggled with hearing loss since childhood. Over the years, she had met with many specialists to see what could be done to help her hearing.
My dream had always been
them being able to treat my hearing loss. And I would go to these specialists and they would show me, you know, the inner ear, the middle ear, and they'd show me the snail-shaped cochlea. And I'd be riveted and they'd say, well, your hair cells are damaged. And so it's nerve loss. And, I'd be listening, thinking, how are we going to treat this? And they'd say, a hearing aid.
Padula ended up wearing hearing aids for many years. While researching the latest hearing aids on the internet, she stumbled upon a clinical trial being offered by Envoy Medical, which is headquartered in White Bear Township. They are the makers of the Esteem Implant. CEO Patrick Spearman explains this device.
It's an implantable hearing device. It's not a hearing aid. It's completely different. The device that we have developed is a inner ear stimulator. What we're really doing is we're stimulating the cochlea with natural vibrations coming off the eardrum. So we're sending a very clear, distinct message to the brain as opposed to a distorted one, which you'll get from a microphone and speaker, which are what a hearing aid does.
Padula was excited about the possibilities of the Esteem Implant and was accepted into the clinical trial.
So when this device came along, where they're looking at and saying, we're going to treat this, we're going to help your cochlea work, it was enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to take the risk.
Spearman explains why Esteem implants sound better than hearing aids.
So if someone goes into a restaurant, into a bar, to a party, has television playing in the background, is on an airplane, wherever there's background noise, a speaker or a microphone gathers all sounds. So the microphone gathers all sounds and then it amplifies it all. With our device, we're just picking up the natural vibration off the eardrum. And we just take that vibration, send it to a microprocessor, and then we amplify the vibration onto the cochlea, the inner ear, and then send the message to the brain.
Padula went through the surgery and then had to wait 8 weeks before the implants could be turned on. When they were turned on for the first time, though, she immediately noticed a huge difference.
When you put a hearing aid in, it's a speaker, sound. This device, it was so clear, and I didn't know it was on right away, and I kind of heard the ventilation system, and I looked at the lady across from me and she said, can you hear it now? And it was just so clear and crisp. I mean, it was a 40-minute appointment. I went down in the elevator. I was telling my husband that I heard beautiful music and this was such a nice place, and he said, that's elevator music. They play that everywhere. But, it was something I'd never heard.
Amy's husband, Craig, says it was a very emotional experience when the Esteem implants were turned on for the first time.
She came out and she said, boy, that's what my kids' voices sound like? I didn't know that. And that was quite an emotional moment. Yeah. It was, it's something to watch that, and I guess then I never really truly understood how bad or what her hearing was prior to that and just certain things she was missing out on.
Amy has noticed huge changes in her life since getting the Esteem implants, both professionally and personally.
I used to avoid people. I used to, because I was worried I wouldn't hear them. And I would kind of try not to make eye contact and kind of slip out. And, it's changed immensely. I mean, I can be inside, they can be outside playing, and if someone screams and cries and gets hurt, I hear it, and I'm out there and know it's something serious. So really on every level, it's changed.
Amy is so passionate about the Esteem implants that she speaks regularly with patients who are also considering getting them.
Hearing loss is something people don't talk about. You have it once you get hearing aids and they either do or don't work for you in certain situations. You're at the end of the road. Prior to this device, there wasn't a treatment. And so you just kind of put your head down like I did and you make do. You do the best you can. Now there's this device that fixes you. I mean, I feel like I've been treated. I don't think about it anymore. And I would absolutely encourage people, what is your hearing worth? And what is your life worth and your quality of life? It's a huge change. It's not just a knee replacement or some small part. It's a sense, and it is really something to be able to participate again fully.
If you're interested in learning more about the Esteem implants, visit Envoy Medical's website at envoymedical.com. If you're looking for something a little different to eat this summer, how about a ham dog? What is a ham dog? Watch this and find out.
It's a heart surgeon's worst nightmare, really.
That's how Brent Mork, general manager of Jimmy's Food and Drink in Venice Heights, describes the ham dog. What exactly is a ham dog? Well, let's have Brent describe it.
It's a quarter-pound hot dog wrapped in a half-pound of hamburger, and we stuff cheese inside of it, cook it, put it on a large hoagie bun, and then we top it off with chili, cheese, and onions.
Mork first discovered the ham dog at a restaurant in Georgia and added it to the Jimmy's menu last summer. He wasn't sure how customers would react to this new menu item.
Often the reaction is, oh my gosh, how could somebody possibly eat that? But the same person that says that, it's not sitting in front of them, 15, 20 minutes later, and they dive into it.
It took a little while for the chefs at Jimmy's to perfect the ham dog, but they have it down to a science now.
You got a hamburger, then we wrap the hot dog with cheese, and then you put it in the middle. And then the next step, you deep fry it for 1 minute, and after the minute, you just pull it out so it doesn't separate, and then you cook in the oven for 8 minutes at 325 degrees. There. We have to add more chili. We add 4 ounces of chili. Then we add cheddar cheese over the top. And then you get a ham dog.
After the ham dog is finished being prepared and is delivered to the customer, the real question is, does anyone eat the whole thing?
I see a lot of people finishing it from, young kids all the way up till, I've had a lady that was, I would say, in her late 60s, she polished one down too, no problem.
And if eating a ham dog wasn't enough food for you, you also get a plate full of fries. You also get the chance to enter a weekly drawing to win a ham dog t-shirt. Right now, there are 2 ham dog options on the Jimmy's menu, the regular and the ham piggity dog, which also features 4 strips of bacon. Mork hopes to add more ham dog items to the menu in the near future, including a barbecue version and a ham dog pizza. The first annual Ham Dog Golf Open was held last September with a ham dog buffet taking place after the golfing. Another Ham Dog Open will take place this fall. If you'd like to try a ham dog for yourself, head over to Jimmy's Food and Drink, located off County Road E in Venice Heights.
If you like chili, you like hot dogs, and you like hamburger, you'll love it. I've never heard a bad comment about it. I think the most negative thing I've ever heard is that people are real full, when they're done eating.
That's all we have time for. Thanks for watching, and please join us again next month for another edition of Northeast Journal.